Can you see now?
There we go.
Perfect.
Yep, I see it.
All right. So here is the example of a form that we send direct to the MSP with instructions, walkthroughs, our YouTube video that explains the entire process in very simplified form. And to create a cloud repository is basically a 5-step process that should take under 15 minutes inside your system. So very, very simplified concept when looking at the Veeam console. Our portal handles all the tenancy passwords. So notice how this password field is left blank here. We don't even keep track of the password. That's something for your MSP and yourselves to know. We don't even know the password to your tenant account. You actually set that and define that through our portal. But these will be the credentials that you connect to our DNS provider for servicing the entire Veeam solution. So without further ado, let me hop into a Veeam server. Clearly I have a Veeam backup replication 9.0. I think they're up to 9.5 now. So anything above 8 can support Veeam Cloud Connect backup. For Veeam Cloud Connect replication, you're going to need Veeam 9 or higher. So just to note that as you investigate into supporting an infrastructure, you may be faced with an upgrade. Cerity has the ability to provide some of that licensing. So if you don't have Veeam on site, we can provide it in terms of a per VM license. All right, now so I have my backup server pulled up here. This is a demo environment. And I have my infrastructure sort of provisioned here, and this is what you would expect to see in a normal install. In terms of setting up the Cloud Connect repository, it's very simple to just click on the backup infrastructure and go to backup repositories. And I've created one already that I'm using right here. This is actually my local repository on this server, and this is my cloud repository. And it's very simple for Veeam Cloud Connect and Veeam Cloud Connect replication to add this repository in. So I'll add my repository. And it would just have a name. You could give it whatever name you desire, but we're going to do a server, a repository server. Actually, I think I need to select cloud repository. Excuse me. So needless to say, let me just edit this one because I think it's going to be easier seen. But as you can see, it's added here. I think it's service providers that you're going to actually add. So this is where you'll add us as a service provider, which actually ties you into our repository. So this is where I would do the cc.atl1.cerity.com, which is our DNS name, specify the port, and all this is handled in that email that was sent over to you. And from here, we can see that it'll connect, and it'll check our SSL, showing that we are SSL, and I must have gotten the DNS name wrong. But I think it might be cc1.atl. Let's try that real quick. There it is. And you can see our SSL provides the in-transit encryption. The credentials to repository are defined, like I said, through the portal. So I have my credentials already present here, and then I can connect up. It's going to establish, and it says I already have it added. So we can go in and view this. It's going to show us the total amount of resources we have allocated through the repository, and really just basically establish that connection with us. In this creation, you can see that we have 100 gigs for this demo. We also have the ability to do WAN acceleration. So if you're concerned about your bandwidth and getting data up to us, we can turn that on for your account. In this scenario, as a test, we don't need to have it on. And we can have that basically facilitate faster backups to us. If it came to a large data set being uploaded to us, we would probably recommend maybe a seed disk to put the initial backups on. Maybe take a copy of yours, put them on a USB hard drive encrypted, ship it to Cerity, and that'll precede the environment. As you can see here, I also have for Veeam replication, the actual CPUs, memory, and target storage of where I can do the full restore of my environment in the event of a failure or a failover. So it's going to update this information. It's very simple. As you can see, now I am connected to a cloud repository. So you can expect pretty much the same experience in terms of creating that infrastructure. From here, it's as simple as going back to your backup jobs and creating a backup copy job. So this takes backup sets that are currently in your environment, and you could run this continuously. So whenever it detects a change in your backups, it's going to upload it to Sirity, or you could have it scheduled at a particular time and time frame. But I'll show you one that I've already completed. So here's my continuously running copy job, and every time a backup actually executes, it's going to upload the details. Here's my demo servers that it's pushing to us. And so this says source backup has encryption. Consider enable encryption for the copy job as well. You'll want to make sure that your copy job is marking encryption. And so from here, I can create restore points. I can target how many restore points I want. I can even do retention settings and make sure that maybe I only want monthlies in the cloud. So very much a granular schedule of collapsing these backup jobs into something that you can manage and that meets your requirements for disaster recovery and or offsite backups. And this is where the RAN accelerator would come in, and I would select it here. I have one installed here, but I don't have it turned on at the target. So right now I'm running in direct mode. And this is when I can transfer the data. So if I wanted to find a time period in which this ran, maybe after hours, that would be great. In terms of replication, though, it makes more sense to probably run that continuously. But in terms of backups, maybe just you're backing up every night and run the copy job after the backup scan. So I know this might be a little bit over somebody's head, but for intensive purposes, it's very simple to get it configured. And, of course, enable it. And it should be running now. And now that that's running, I can see in the cloud, I have my backups. I've created my 2 backups, and they're not really recent because I use this only for demo. But if I ran this backup job again, the source backup job for demo servers, it would go ahead and replicate that information up to the cloud, and I would see those instances here. Next, what I guess we're going to go into is Veeam, because this is just backup, we're going to go into Veeam replication. Veeam replication actually allows me to do failovers. So in the cloud, I've created a hardware failover plan. And actually, before I do the failover plan, I would create a replication job. And a replication job basically targets my repository and uploads that data into a recovery IaaS. So as you can see here, I have replication job 2. I can select a whole bunch of different things in regards to networking. I can select the virtual machines and really get granular as to the transfer settings, the job settings, when it runs. And I've already created that, and you can see my replica is up in the cloud now. There's my demo, and I've actually called a failover. So by right-clicking on this, I can actually select failover now, or I could add to a failover plan. And the failover plan could contain all manner of tests and it automatically detects when something's down on the network or not working correctly and cause the failover to happen. So very, very great feature in terms of sort of active monitoring and controlling that failover. So if I wanted to fail that over now, I would hit failover. And this would actually bring the environment up inside of our cloud IaaS. I'll just hit next. So, and this replica has already been pushed up into our cloud platform. I finish. And as you can see here, I already have one active. It's going to kick off a job here in a second, and it's going to start the failover process. All right. 1 second here. And then what I can do is I can jump over to my console. So as this fails over, your MSP would be able to log into the Sirity portal, and they would have a screen that looked like this. Notice here's my 2 replicas that I have. I can view them. And at this point, I could restore the VM. So there is one step, and that's basically an import from our Veeam environment into our production IaaS. So clicking this button would bring it up into our infrastructure. Let's go ahead and click that. Pop up as there we go. So this is what our infrastructure would look like, and this is how you would access and manage And so that restore would actually show up as VMs in this console that you could power on and power off. We have all sorts of plans and manners, but it does need to match the hardware specifications of what you're currently running in your production environment. So we size this environment to match what's fitting for your actual replicas. In this case, it would be 8 gigs of RAM. It would be 102 gigs of actual storage space, and match that one for one to the environment. Brian, are you impressed? I mean, this is great stuff. As you can see, I've already failed over. I could fail over permanently at this point, and necessitate a fail back if I needed to. So if I needed to come back, I could do a fail back to production. And that will write back any changes that are up in our co-location facility back onto your on-premise servers. So that will actually edit the solution, edit the servers, snap them with our Veeam infrastructure, and then push those backups back to your Veeam console, which then will restore them onto your local servers. So very much a completely automated from your side failover and failback strategy. If you ever needed to have security intervene, once again, we would have to have encryption keys provided, but it's definitely easy to manage that from your side. And if you needed the backup controls, we can provide them as well.
That's very well done, Lee. I think you nailed it with it's near synchronous. It's continuous replication of the VMs. You can, if needed, you can leverage WAN acceleration to replicate even faster. It doesn't, you can replicate for backup files, so it doesn't impact your production environment. There certainly is a lot of benefits to leveraging this technology for disaster recovery. And it's cost efficient. Most folks already have a good piece of the software.
So one question did come in chat, and I'll just go ahead and answer it now. One person asked, if I had large data sets like 100 terabytes that I need to push into the security cloud, how does that work? And what speeds can I expect? And what are some limitations? So in terms of large data sets, we're looking at change data that occurs at the bit level of the actual VM. And this is change data that's being processed by the hypervisor. So it's sort of hard to say, but the best way to do it is to actually look at your jobs, your backup jobs, and you can get an idea of, in terms the compression that was achieved, and a lot of that is just available by clicking on your backup job and going to statistics. And you can see quite a bit of data in terms of what was transferred and what was read, and the idea is to track the actual growth of the backups. So the change data is a big factor in how much you're going to end up pushing per night. For the initial seeding process, like I said, we would ship a drive or a NAS or a SAN. Just really depends on the size. Of course, we're recovering that hardware, so it's not a major issue for us to deploy something like that just to get the data inbound. But nowadays, with gigabit connections, we're ingesting quite a bit of data over the wire and the initial seed. So it really is beyond that just a matter of data change rate. So we're also looking in terms of WAN compression, WAN acceleration, as well as data compression. So we can get pretty good compression up to at least 1.5 in terms of servers that are like. So if you have 100 servers, each with an 80 gig hard drive that's provisioned off a template, all those can collapse tremendously in a backup scheme. And that's the way Veeam actually handles compression. So another question regarding to NetApp SnapMirror, can I push NetApp SnapMirror data into the cloud as a target? So VMware data that's not, and it's database data is what he's identifying. That data is in a format that's not really consumable by our backend platform. So it's going to be in a way that needs to be wrapped up into some solution that's going to be already readily supported by Security. If there is some sort of backup set or backup data that you do need to target with us, typically we can build out an infrastructure to aggregate that and collect it in our production IaaS. But it's not going to be as cost efficient as the solutions that we've already sort of made as an offering. that we're taking all the technology on our side and embedding it into our platform, such as Veeam, to provide the solution in a very cost-effective manner. Other solutions, random backup solutions, let's say, for instance, backup exec cloud or NetApp direct SAN backups, those we don't have the infrastructure and setup to support those hardware proprietary backup solutions. That's why we partnered with companies like Veeam to provide what I'd like to call hardware agnostic backups. So that's really where Cerity finds the best value is in hardware agnosticity for the backup solution. Software solutions like Zerto, software solutions like Shadow Protect, and Veeam.
Haley, I am going to unmute everyone in case there are any other questions.
Sure.
So everyone, you are unmuted, so just chime in if you have any questions.
Yeah, it's always asked of us, where's our data centers? We have 2 level 3 data centers, one in Atlanta and one in Phoenix. So our customers here in the United States are very well protected.
And we offer disaster recovery within our own internal cloud IaaS. So not only do we support Veeam targeting as backups and Zerto targeting as disaster recovery, but we also leverage the same technology inside our own platform. So if you had a cloud infrastructure and you needed to have that DR'd into our other data center, we're leveraging these same tools. So we've reached economies of scale with working with them, and we're very tightly related to the vendors that supply them. So you can rest assured that we have some of the highest level Veeam support and the highest level Zerto support, as well as Shadow Protect. And we've seen the problems that can arise, and we have answers.
Crystal, can you move to our Q&A slide, which has some contact information, and it probably is a good time to talk about our free 30-day trial proof of concept, where we challenge our prospects to take out the solution, use it. We can provision up to 100 gigabytes for you. We can have this ready within 24 hours, so you can start provisioning data right away.
Fait que je vais me mettre. Ben, je vais essayer de le mettre demain sur ça pour après-demain. Là. Fait que je vais te revenir. Bye.
Do we have any further questions here, folks? Well, good. Well, please note our contact information. What we'll be doing is reaching back out to you with a copy of the slide presentation, as well as our contact information, and we look forward to you asking us for a 30-day free trial. We look forward to you folks looking at it. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank you.